Hey everyone, it's Ajaxter here. Welcome to part 2 of the mini tutorial series, part of the entire How to Make Valorant in Unity tutorial series. If you guys haven't watched the first couple episodes of How to Make Valorant in Unity, make sure you do that, otherwise you'll be a little lost. It's just setting up WASD controls, setting up your player camera, mouse looks, setting up crouching, setting up jumping, setting up walking. Simple basic FPS things like that, and then you'll be able to jump right into the spread recoil pattern. So hope you guys enjoy this video. We'll be really getting into, let's hit play. Actually, I'll show you. We'll just be getting into programming the recoil pattern, programming the shooting, and stuff like that. So thank you so much for watching. Click subscribe, click like if you guys want to see more content like this. Click the bell if you want to get notifications about videos I release quite frequently. So thank you for watching. So let's open Visual Studio, go into our scripts, and we can just click one of our scripts and it'll open Visual Studio. And the first thing that we'll do is we'll start working on this gun system that can handle many guns. So the first thing I want to do is scripts, add new folder, and then let's just call it guns. And then we'll make a interface for all of our guns. So let's just create a new class and we'll say gun. And this interface is going to be kind of like a contract that every single gun will have to fill out these requirements or these fields. So let's say using Unity engine is the only thing we'll need for this interface. And then let's change it from class gun to public interface gun. Okay. And then so the first thing a gun always has is a name. Just say get. Oops. The second, int max magazine ammo, int max ammo. So max magazine ammo is how much ammo the gun has in total, right? And then max ammo is, max magazine ammo is how much one magazine holds. Max ammo is how much the ammo the gun has in total. Float fire rate per second. This is kind of like, do we have a machine gun or submachine gun that fires really fast, or do we have an assault rifle that fires a little slower? Float fall off distance. This just tells us how far can the gun actually shoot someone. Float recoil reset time seconds. We'll go into this a little more once we get to it. And then the last thing is our vector 3 recoil pattern. And our vector 3 recoil pattern array is just going to tell us how much to incrementally rotate our gun and our crosshair by. So let's hit save. And then let's just make a generic AK-47 gun. So I'll just name this AK-47 because that's what our prefab is using. So let's go in here. Okay. So just clear everything out. And the only thing I'll need for this one is also just using Unity engine. Whoops. Using Unity engine, and my Visual Studio just flipped out. Okay, so let's give it the interface so that we know what we need to implement, and then we'll say public string name get private set equals AK-47. Okay, that's simple. Public int max magazine ammo get private set equals 25. Public int, and this is kind of based off of the Vandal, so from Valorant. So max ammo get private set equals 100. Public float fire rate per second. Private set 8F. Public float And you can always mess around with these numbers to your liking. Fall off distance, get private set equals 150F, public float, recoil reset, time seconds, get private set equals 0.5. So recoil reset, time seconds. That's just how long it takes for the recoil pattern to reset. How long does it take for the recoil pattern to become accurate again? So right now we're saying it takes half a second. The player either has to stop firing for half a second or stop moving for half a second for it to reset. So public vector 3, and then we'll say recoil pattern, get private set equals new vector 3, and then we'll just do 25 for now. Okay, and so we can mess around with these for in the future, so that we can get it closer to the Vandal and Valorant. I have a couple things or some numbers already written down, and so I'll fill them out real quick. So the first two shots are going to be fairly accurate, right? So they're going to be 0.500. We're going to rotate the gun up by negative 0.5, and we'll just duplicate that. Okay. And then the next ones after that, we're going to have 1, 2, 3. We'll have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll have 10 go up or rotate up on the x-axis at negative 0.8, and then after that we'll have 4 rotate on the y-axis. So we're starting the T, right? We're starting the top of the T, 0.8, and then the rest we'll do going to the left at negative 0.8F. Okay, and then for these guys, let's just put the F. So this is just a really simple T. There's no, it's very linear, so it looks like a legitimate T instead of Valorant's 7 or something like that. So this is up to you guys to make it seem more like how you want it to be, but this gives you the freedom to make an AK-47 with its unique spray pattern. So now that we have that, let's go and make a script called player weapon, and then new class, and then we'll call it player weapon. Okay, and I can just get rid of this namespace stuff, and let's get rid of this stuff, and let's import Unity engine, and this is going to be attached to our player prefab. So let's derive from mono behavior. Okay, and then there's going to be a couple things that we need are some serialized fields. So serialized field, animator, hand animator, serialized field, transform, fire point. Okay, serialized field, camera, player camera, serialized field, particle system, whoops, muzzle flash, serialized field, game object, wall hit, decal prefab, serialized field, game object, projectile prefab. And we may not be writing out the functionality for all of these in this episode, but eventually we'll get to it. So the next thing, we'll have a public gun equipped weapon. We'll have a reference to our player controller. We'll have a private float last time shot equals 0F, and we'll have a current recoil index, which is equal to 0. So void start. And I don't generally have this private. It doesn't really make a difference. It's up to personal preference. Player controller equals get component player controller, and then equipped weapon, for now we'll just set it at AK-47. Okay, so let's go and create our update function. Update, let's delete the private, and then we'll say bool is trying to shoot, and right now I have get key, and I just do key code dot mouse 0. If you wanted to make a semi-automatic gun, all you would need to do is change this to get key down, and we can get to that in a later episode to make it so that you can transition, like add a field on the AK-47 to say is semi-automatic, and then so we have this, and then if is trying to shoot, then we say handle shooting. Okay, so now we will create this handle shooting function. So void handle shooting. Okay, and then we'll first do the check if for the last time shot. So if time minus last time shot is greater than or equal to 1 divided by equipped weapon dot fire rate per second, then we are shooting. We can shoot again. We can shoot again. And then this will be at the bottom. We'll just set last time shot equal to time.time. Okay. So this handles our fire rate. So or you know what I mean. And then we will start by firing. So what we'll do is we'll have a fire point on our gun, and then we'll shoot a raycast out from that fire point and see if it hits anything. Okay, so let's just do that. Okay. So raycast hit if physics dot raycast. I'm gonna say fire point dot transform dot position. And then we'll say fire point dot transform direction. Transform dot forward. I'm just gonna put these on new lines just so that it's a little more readable. And then so we have a comma there, and then we'll say out hit, comma, equipped weapon dot fall off distance. That's just the max length of our raycast. And then we'll brackets. Okay. And then say we hit something. So if we are in this function, then we successfully hit something. So then we'll instantiate the wall hit decal prefab. Hit dot point, right? And then quaternion from to rotation. Vector 3 dot forward. Hit dot normal. So this will just put a wall hit prefab, like the decal, like the hole in the wall or whatever that we decide to use, and it's going to be facing us, right, because we're shooting at it, and it's going to be in the position on the point where we hit it. Okay, so now if we go into Unity, let's see if this actually does something. So let's go into Valorant tutorial, let's go to our player, let's add the player weapon prefab or player weapon script to our player. Okay, so now we have a couple serialized fields that we need to figure out. So let's go into our assault rifle, and under our arms assault rifle there's a hand animator, so let's go put that right there. Our firing point we have not made yet, so let's create that. So in, let's see, where did I put it and what were the values? Let's see, assault rifle. Okay, so under our weapon right here, let's create an empty object and let's call that firing point. Okay, now the you'll see it's not, we're gonna put it at the gun, so the values I have used are negative 0.3, 0.58, and then 0.5, and then rotation we'll do negative 33, dot 273. Okay, and then I just changed the scale to 0.1, 0.1, 0.1, which I don't think we need to do. And you can see it's a little offset. That's just because we are shooting at the crosshair on the center of the screen. So yeah. So, and then now that we have our firing point, let's go back to our player, and then let's drag our firing point in there. We have a player camera already, so just drag the main camera in there. Muzzle flash, we'll worry about that in a little. Wall hit decal prefab. In the prefab, or in the asset that we imported, it actually comes with a metal impact prefab, which is right here. Okay, and then projectile prefab we can worry about later. So if we hit play, see it. Whoa! So you can see we're creating these metal impact prefabs, but let's see. Whoops. On these metal impact prefabs, let's get rid of the source so it doesn't scare the living hell out of us. And it comes with the script. We'll just use it right now because it has a despawn timer. Okay. Okay, and also go into this impact script, and because we don't have an audio source anymore, we can just delete these. And let's go back into Unity. So we actually made one mistake in our player weapon class. So let's go back into Visual Studio, and let's open the player weapon class. Instead of transform.forward here, vector3.forward. Okay. And then let's go back in, hit play. Okay, cool. Now we see things working. We can see if we hold down, we can see that they're showing up. It's pretty neat, right? And they're just showing up wherever our cursor is. There's no spread pattern right now, so let's do that next. So now that we have things actually showing up on the screen, let's implement the gun recoil. So void handle gun recoil. It's our next function that we'll do. Okay, and in our handle gun recoil, we can say if time is minus last time shot greater than equal to equipped weapon dot recoil reset time seconds. So if we have reset, if we've stopped firing for this amount of time or we've stopped moving, then we can say player controller dot set gun rotation, which we'll make in a little. And then we'll say player controller dot gun rotation, which we'll also make, and then equipped weapon dot recoil pattern index 0. So we're resetting it right now, and then current recoil index is now going to be 1. Else, then we're just going along the recoil pattern, so we can say player controller dot set gun rotation, player controller dot gun rotation plus equipped weapon dot recoil pattern, then current recoil index. Okay, then if current recoil index plus 1 is less than or equal to equipped weapon dot recoil pattern dot length minus 1, then we'll just increment the current recoil index by 1 because we have not reached the out of bounds of the array. If not, then we just reset it back to 0 and we start the whole thing over again. So let's create this set gun rotation and this gun rotation in our player controller. So let's go here, and what we'll do is we'll create a public void set gun rotation. Okay, and then we'll say vector3 gun rotation with an underscore, and we'll create, let's go up to the top, we'll create one serialized field That's just serialized field. And we'll say transform hands transform. Okay. And then we'll also have a public vector3, which will be our gun rotation, equals vector3.0. Okay. Now that we have those, we can now go into our set gun rotation function and say gun rotation equals gun rotation, and then hands transform dot local rotation equals quaternion dot Euler gun rotation. Alright, so let's go back into our player weapon class, and inside of our handle shooting, we can just say handle gun recoil. Okay, so let's go back to Unity and let's see if it actually does the thing. So variable hands transform, so we have to go into our player controller script. Hands transform will be let me see, I think I put it as the root. Let me just make sure. Player controller. So you're right. So this is our hands transform right here. So drag that in to our player controller. Okay. And as you can see, we are going up the recoil. Okay, but our gun is not rotating back to 0. What the, that's kind of weird. So let's but it's starting to come together, right? It's starting to come together. So Valorant tutorial, or let's go into our scripts, and then let's reset that back, right? So let's, in our update function, we're not trying to shoot, and then we can say start trying. Let's make a comment. Start trying to reset back to position. We are not trying to shoot anymore. So what we'll do is we'll actually just player controller set gun rotation, and we'll say vector3.lerp, which will give us that little animation look. Vector3.lerp. Okay. And then we can say player controller. So we're going from our current gun rotation to vector3.0, and equipped weapon dot fire rate per second times time dot delta time. And this should actually not be fire rate per second. This should actually be this should be recoil reset time seconds. Okay. Or should it be? Okay, we'll see. So now that we have that, we can see it goes up and it resets back to the position. And actually, I guess I just put this at fire rate per second because it's faster. So now you can see that it lerps back to 0, right? You can see as we go up, we're going up and we're doing that T. We're going back to 0. By the way, these wall hit prefabs are kind of difficult to see. Anyways, you can see that we're going through the thing and we're resetting back to 0. Resetting back to 0. Cool. Okay. Now that we have that, we can... we can add one last touch, which will make it feel a lot better and feel a lot more like Valorant. So as you see, our gun is the only thing moving right now, right? We don't see any crosshair movement, so it doesn't feel that responsive. So if we go back into our scripts, and we can see... So if we go to our player controller script and we go to handle mouse look, and here's what we'll actually rotate. If gun rotation under our X rotation not equal to vector3.0, okay, player camera dot transform dot local rotation equals quaternion dot Euler, and then we'll say a semicolon right there. We'll say x rotation plus gun rotation dot x divided by 1.2f. So it's not exactly half, but it's a percentage of whatever the gun rotation is. So dot y divided by 1.2f, gun rotation dot z 1.2f. Okay. No trailing commas, and then else, then we just do this. We handle the mouse look like normal. Okay, so now let's go back to Unity. Let's hit play, and now that we'll see the cursor is also moving along with the recoil pattern. So now it feels like we're really having to fight against the the recoil pattern. If you guys want to use a different wall decal, it'll probably be a little easier to see a little better, so you guys can always mess around with that. All you have to do is drag a new one. So one last thing, I know I said that there was one last thing, but right now it doesn't feel as impactful because the gun is being pretty, the gun is still, like the gun is not actually moving in a way that looks like it's shooting, So let's just play an animation, and this animation comes with the prefab, so that's awesome. So let's go into player weapon, say void play fire animation. Let's just create a new function. We can say hand animator dot play, and I think it's called fire. And inside the handle shooting, we can also do play fire animation. Let's go back into Unity. That's it. Hit play. Okay, and we also need to change the time, so let's go to arms assault rifle. Let's just let's see, or let's go into where is it, components, animators, assault rifle. There's our assault rifle, so let's open that out. Let's go into fire right here, and then I think I just changed the time to something a lot faster, so let's just try that out. Change it to 7. Let's try that out. Let's see. Okay. That's a lot. That's not as fast. Let me see what I changed it to. Okay, I actually changed it to 4. Whoops. So fire, changed it to 4, and then remember to hit apply. Scroll to the bottom, hit apply, and then if we hit play, we can see now it feels really responsive. I think if we had some better wall decals, it'd look actually a lot better, but it feels great. It feels great. And I just so I know you guys saw that a crosshair came in at the beginning of the video. I just created a canvas, so select UI canvas, and all I did was create an image, went here, source image, and then I just choose this drop down thing. You guys can choose whatever image you want and just place it on the center of the screen, right? And then I just change the width and the height to whatever you guys like. And so now we have a functioning recoil pattern. We still have some work to do, like if I just hold it and it goes in the T and then it resets, right? It resets the recoil pattern, so it'll just keep doing that. But that's nice. You see how it lerps back to 0, 0. Lerp. So, and then we can also stand far away, and I'll drag my cursor down, try to be more accurate. So yeah, pretty neat, pretty fun, pretty exciting. Feels really good. Feels really similar to Valorant and Counter-Strike. So thank you for watching. Ajaxter out.